Well, hello everyone. Welcome to Mr. Cord Cutter and Cord Cutter Briefings for Tuesday, February 12th, 2019. I am Brad Jenkins, and here's some of the headlines we're going to look at today. Georgia wants to tax Netflix. at&t says, we didn't care about 267,000 subscribers who left us in the fourth quarter of 2018. Roku is going to now become a middleman. HBO it says that they are still going ahead with their Confederate series of what slavery would be like if it was still intact today. And Epix is now going to be available for streaming. So, let's get into what we're going to talk about today. First off, over in Georgia, we have Representative Jay Powell. He's a Republican, by the way. And he claims that it's time for everybody to pony up and pay their fair share in Georgia for accessing Netflix or anything else that you might download from the internet. Kind of just goes against what I'm thinking about here, in that for most Republicans, I think that their platform is little to no taxes. So Mr. Powell evidently didn't get the latest memo from the Republican Party, because he's clearly okay with the fact that basically he wants to take from those who have it, that can pay for it, and be able to give it to those in rural parts of Georgia who don't. Kind of sounds a little bit like Robin Hood, maybe. I don't know, but it's definitely a bit of socialism as well. And again, I've never seen Republicans embrace this type of platform before up until now. So I'm not sure what's going on with Mr. Powell, but in fact, Savannah columnist Charlie Harper concurs. Mr. Harper admits to being old school and still gets his services from cable TV. So he is not a cord cutter or a streamer of any type, yet he wants to tax all of you from Georgia who are trying to be forward thinkers and have control over what you do with your content and how you consume it and where. So if you're in Georgia and you don't like this, you might want to get a hold of State Representative Jay Powell and let him know how you feel about the fact that you're going to get taxed to watch Netflix, Game of Thrones, or anything else that you might access through the internet. Over at Seeking Alpha, writer William North wrote an article claiming that at&t, who is DirecTV Now owner, parent company, didn't give a darn about 267,000 subscribers leaving. In fact, while I made a previous video applauding those folks who showed how great it is to have that choice and to be able to move quickly away from something that is not providing the type of service that they're looking for and choose something else, Mr. North claims that at&t was extremely happy to see those types of subscribers go, because they were just there on the free or reduced promotion. Interesting take, but one that I'm going to strongly disagree with, because if these people came to at&t to look or to try them out, let's say these 267,000, clearly they did not feel that jumping up to the regular price point of at&t's DirecTV Now provided the value they were looking for. That's my take. That's my take as a cord cutter, because I personally tried out DirecTV Now, and I'm going to do a review on it. I'll give them a chance to come back and look again, but I was never happy or satisfied with it, and I replaced it with what I use now, which is basically YouTube TV. So I'm curious if you happen to be watching this and you might have been one of those 267,000 subscribers that abandoned DirecTV Now. Did you actually replace it, DirecTV Now service, with something else at full price? I'm going to do a little research, and I'll probably do an in-depth article on the website, mrcordcutter.com, really going back through and analyzing this again. Again, like I said, I mentioned that I made a previous video congratulating those cord cutters that demonstrated the true beauty of what we're at now as far as consuming TV and media. But I want to do some research and find out if I can find some complaints and hear from some other people, and then we'll put up another story for this moving forward. But and one other interesting thing Mr. North discloses at the end of the article, Oh, he did go back and buy AT&T stock after it dropped because of this announcement. So, kind of interesting that you have someone who's now become a stockholder in a company, and he's writing to take up their side that basically AT&T DirecTV now is okay with losing 267,000 subscribers in less than 3 months. Good job, guys. Or 4 months, excuse me, and that was the fourth quarter. Okay, anyways, on to the next one. Roku is always, as usual, looking to try to find ways to monetize their service. And so their free channel that they have is now going to be used to kind of become more of a middleman. You're going to be able to sign up for some different premium services, but you're going to have to pay for them. And of course, Roku will take a cut from that application. Let's say it's Showtime that they offer, which you can't get HBO, I don't think, on Roku. But Roku wants to take a part of that that subscription fee. So here we go. It's interesting. Things and people start out doing things for free, but it just goes to show you that nothing ever is free in this life. And Roku is trying to be competitive and on tap with Amazon and some of the other ones that are out there that have their own platforms to generate other streams of revenue. And Roku is simply trying to find their own stream that they can as well. So we'll see if it works. What do we got next? HBO. Now, this is something I found interesting. HBO, nice to hear they're going to do a Deadwood movie. That series was really good and just kind of ended quickly out of nowhere. So Deadwood movie is in the works. A Michael Jackson documentary is also been ordered and being worked on. And one of the biggest things is bringing back the controversy of HBO stating that the Confederate series is still a go. Now, that's a little interesting because this is going to be something about, as far as projecting forward, that slavery still exists today. And I don't know, I'm having a hard time grasping the concept, the fact that you have the two producers from the Game of Thrones. And it's not like Game of Thrones was ever really, I don't know, shall we say, equal in its representation of people. For some reason, it seems in this fantasy world that these two creators did from Game of Thrones and D.B. Weiss and Benioff, there wasn't very many black people per se in the series. So I just, right off the bat, having looked at Game of Thrones, and to think that you're gonna entrust two people to really didn't have a good job or do a good job of having a good cross representation of different nationalities in or ethnicities in their series for what ran 6-7 years, still one more to go. You're going to expect them to be representative and have a good representation and output and insight, I guess you could say, from people of color. That's going to be interesting. So we'll see. Hopefully, at least maybe if they have any intelligence, they'll at least bring on some different nationalities and ethnicities to assist with putting this show together. But we'll see. This could be a serious misstep for HBO. I like the concept. I'm a history buff myself. I would be okay with the concept, but I'm not happy with the people who are behind it. They didn't demonstrate any type of ability to understand or incorporate people of color into Game of Thrones for the most part. There's a few, but nothing major. So, I just don't appreciate the fact of who they're bringing in. And in fact, I didn't like the new Star Wars series anyway. So we'll see. That's just my opinion. Let me know what your thoughts are. Let's see. And last one for today, number 5. Epix is now going to be available as a streaming app. It is both on Android and Apple. I will be doing a review of Epix quite soon, and it'll be up, and I'll let you know what I think. Basically, MGM is going to be, most of their catalog will be available, and $5.99 a month. We'll see how it goes. As in my past experience with some of these standalone apps, especially with Showtime, they do okay early morning or mid-afternoon, but when the big viewing time hits between pretty much 6:30, 7 o'clock until 9 or 9:30, 10 o'clock in the night, we'll see how they're able to sustain their output of their product, because when I had Showtime, it was just constantly buffering during peak viewing times, and you really need to have a lot of horsepower going when you're sending out video and you've got multiple people hitting your streams at the same time. You better be prepared. And I think one thing that cord cutters are showing is that basically from the DirecTV Now, back to that story, we're not going to be very patient. We're not going to sit there and accept something that's subpar, and you're taking money from us, so we're going to hold you to a certain standard. So we'll see how patient cord cutters will be if Epix is something that takes off. Again, like I said, we'll do a quick review here soon. It'll be up, and then you can decide for yourself. And of course, as usual, cord cutters always have the biggest say in how something does by simply showing with their pocketbook where they're putting their money at. All right, I'm Mr. Cord Cutter. The website is mrcordcutter.com for more information. This was our 5 briefings for today on Tuesday. Thanks so much for tuning in, and we'll see you soon.